Oh, and thank you to all the masters, especially Krishnamurti, for this topic we have chosen tonight to speak on. And um, very awakening, I thought it was, especially in this COVID time where schools are closed and what the children are going through, whatever. So it's a very enlightening topic we have chosen tonight is on education. Are we educated to be free or we educated to be something? Is what we have to ask. So the master always says, whatever he says, he questions because when the master questions, is of course people will kind of think, okay, now what is he trying to say? So naturally, it's like we have to understand at that point what it means. So it's very powerful way of understanding this topic. So let's ask question about education today. And is education given to be intelligent, responsible, and free? Is a question. So when we say to a child, that it is for intelligence and responsibility and to be free, so we want that in a child now. Before we want that in the child, let us question, are parents intelligent, responsible, and free? So that's very powerful now, isn't it? What we are doing. And then we are asking the same thing again. Is the society intelligent, responsible, and free? And we have to go further. Is Are the teachers responsible, intelligent, and free? See what we're coming to. And then is the whole structure, education structure, whoever is at the head, are they intelligent, responsible, and free? So there's a bigger picture here, and from what we are trying to make everyone understand. So, why are we educated is the first question again, and why we must learn all the subjects. Now, we've done this before in the past, and have we been successful? So, all that pressure that you must do maths and you must do this and you must do that and you must, and regardless, we just went through it all and through the primary school, secondary, and high school, or whatever you call it, and then to universities, and then fighting for jobs, and then fighting to get higher salaries and wages, whatever you call it, in this overpopulated world. Were we happy in all that fighting and going on? And it was a struggle. It was a struggle. And we often observed that the children of influential parents uh, didn't have to go through all this. It was easy for them. And even getting the jobs was easy because they were not discriminated. They had influence behind them. They carried that surname, whatever, and it was easy for them. So maybe their problems were different. So all this we have to consider. So is this what we want to carry on? I don't think so. So now the word education, as it says, are we learning? What are we learning? And there is skills there. And what skills? Is it sort of, I would say, life purpose there and to be the best? So you see, a cardiologist would take good few years, even the best engineers and the scientists, the research scientists, good 10 to 15 years of their life goes in to just studies and getting more skills and studies. And in the end, what? Were they happy with what they achieved? Or were they doing it for greater well-being of other people? Yes, then yes, well and good. So All these questions we have to ask. So human race is here to live through holistic education. Now we must understand what holistic education is about. So it is not just acquiring to earn. I am going to do this career. Well, I'm going to have this career because I want to earn more money. It's not the way ahead. It is not about making money. It is about fulfilling yourself. So um, people call success as when you make money, but really it's not that. So um, therefore, the educator needs education now, and parents needs education as well, because they must observe the children, observe what a child is a seed, and for that seed to blossom, the parents must observe what that kid is good at, and not just sort of say, oh, neighbor's kid is going for this lesson, that lesson, so I must send my kids there as well. And everything going, the kids are running back and forth doing everything like jack of all trades and master of none. That's not what we want anymore. And we have to stop doing that. The parents must be educated not to do this. And I found it many times observing these children were exhausted, just running back and forth along with the exhausted parents ferrying them. So this is not good, really. So, yes, society and parents, they demand, like, that this must be done. Who are they? So we have to put those questions through now, that it's not healthy for a child. And we must educate ourselves as adults not to go that way. Also, some of the countries which are sort of poor countries where kids are extremely bright, and they're brought up in these war zones and that. And the first thing they do is they teach them how to hold the guns and shoot and kill. This is not what we want either. So, all these must change now. And we have to go towards holistic way. So holistic way is not really about having money to go and have our education. It is just here within us, and we just need to unveil it. So we must cultivate the brain fully, completely, and not just partially, and be responsible and not be conditioned either that, this I must do and that I must do. So there must be full understanding oneself. Also, some of the parents say, like, if they're doctors, they want their children to be doctors. They want them to go to the same university, same hospital. What are they doing? They are just, you know, um, experiencing their memories in the children now, and again, going in that same circus, and they're proud of it. But is the child really happy in that situation, in that circus? And when I say circus, circus means what? It's like, going from school to the same high school, to the same university that the parents went to, and even to the same hospital where they want them to work. And who is saying all this? And is that the way the child wants to grow? In fact, the child has not done anything, and it'll even come to that point where they will marry and they'll have children, and then the holidays and everything is what the family wants them to do, to see that that is happiness. That is not happiness, and that is certainly not holistic approach for a child, because in this, um, the child is very limited, and it is not learning, but it's distorted, uh, and never had the chance to explore oneself. So this is a limited education, as we call it. So what are we neglecting? The psychological field we are neglecting. And modern education is like memorizing and stored knowledge. It is not coming from within, and it is only partial cultivation, which is limited and controlled, as you could see. So we have to gradually come out of this and come to the whole being, cultivating the whole being, the full consciousness, and where there's no memorizing, because you are what you are. You are the living book of mankind, and limitless knowledge will flow. So, uh, what will it not have? It will not have distortion. It will it will not be dependent on anyone. And it will not have any shadow of conflicts within. And there'll be no instructions either from others. So the, that being will just grow in its own self, and full experience will be there as well. And mankind must be in clarity to read his own book. This is the way we have to go forward. And I totally agree with what the master has said. And it is so beautiful, Krishnamurti, what he has put it years ago. And so the way also we have to think very deep is, it is not just our life here. We have to think of ourselves as starting from the first atom, the one atom, and the sea life, and then coming on to the bird life, and then coming on to the animal life. So we're carrying the impressions of all this into our human race. And why stop when we come to our human race? Why are we losing our freedom? Why are we so confined, and limited to listening to all these other voices that want us to do this? Can we not make our own mind up? Are we that mentally weak? So all these questions need really, you know, um, arising. We must understand that this is not what living is. Living book is listening to our own intuition, to our own self. So, free from everyone's opinions, prejudices, nonsense of society and the world. So all this has to be taken into account. And of course, yes, when you come to this holistic education, requires enormous intelligence and observation. So you are very aware, you're very aware to what direction you want to take, so that your inside balances with the outside, and you completely, like a full moon, the sun shines on the moon and the moon reflects completely. So that kind of reflection must come from within, uh, to reflect outside. So there's a real balance. And when there's that real balance, this is the real education then. So he says very beautifully that when we love something that we do, there is no conflict, there is no greed, there is no fame, and there is no chasing, there is no competition. And isn't this sufficient enough in itself? It's beautifully put, and it's free of distortion. So there is harmony and there is oneness. This knowledge is transforming the being. It is not just taking that being to do something that others wants to do, but this being in the holistic way is being transformed and connected to the source. And what a beautiful thing to have, is to have that connection with the source. And that is your realization as well, where you are completely self-realized and living your purpose bravely and outstandingly. So there is no problem, because if there is a problem, it is attached to the answer. So you will know what to do, and it's the most magnificent way to be educated this way than what it was. So this topic ends here, touching on all the beautiful points and so many questions that one needs to address to move forward. And it's not just educating the child, but the society and everything that is connected needs to be educated and aware and intelligent and totally focused and free. So we end here today. Thank you. Namaste.